What is this nastiness, man?
Change the pace.
Check this one out. Luther Hall, a gentleman by the name of Luther Hall, is a policeman. Well, unfortunately for him, he was beaten by three of his St. Louis Police Department co-workers. Unfortunately for Luther Hall, he was undercover spying at a Black Lives Matter protest. He was part of the crowd, and it would appear that even though he was undercover in a Black Lives Matter crowd, the police got him and beat the crap out of him. That's what you get. That's what you get. Serves your blooming right, man. What a dickhead. What an idiot. Serves him right. I got no sympathy whatsoever. I was literally gonna scroll past that one, but hold on. The trial for white cops who beat black detective like Rodney King tests blue wall of silence. That's what. See, this is what you get, right? You know when you see those old coppers, yeah, those old English police, and they've said, "Oh yes, racism exists, and I was on the force for 30 years."
Racism in Britain today, wonderful, wonderful. But it is, yes, of course, it's a really big problem, enormous problem, big, enormous, tremendously big problem.
Yeah, because you was on the force taking all the racism, being the coon, yeah, being the proxy so they can do their racism. Now you're not in a job, you on reflection. Fuck off, man. Yeah, I know, we need people with balls at the time. Yeah, we don't need your reflection. Yeah, because I see a couple of former black coppers knocking about on the media scene all of a sudden. All right, okay, you finished betraying your own people, and now you get to come out into the one. What are you, an authority on racial discourse with the police? You coons!
I'm not really sure if it does to beef about it the whole time, you know. Yes, it is a big problem, but I myself have been the subject of this social malaise, is what it is.
Fucking coons! I'm seeing all these black coppers turning up all over the... Well, yes, I was working for the Metropolitan Police for the last 30 years. And what did you do? Even the top black female policeman, who's a coon 99% of the time, they even brought her low by sending her pedophilia. You know what? Do you know what white supremacy does when it's finished with him? Do you want me to tell you? Because, like, clearly you don't know. There's coons out there. You need to ring a coon today. You just let that coon know that when white supremacy is done with their tools, they break them. Okay? There's no retirement plan. Yeah, there's no payoff unless, like, you know, and if there is a payoff, it's like it's a rubbish payoff. Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah type payoff, 50 pieces of silver type payoff. But sirs, this blood clot idiot's right. Luther Hall sustained injuries requiring multiple surgeries after posing as a protester while working undercover in St. Louis. So he's a man of colour working as an undercover in a Black Lives Matter protest, protesting white racism in police. But you wanted to double down on your coonery. Written by Anoa Changa. Yeah, of course. It sounds like a typical American. Jury deliberations were scheduled to resume Monday in the trial of 3 white police officers charged with beating a handcuffed undercover black detective during the 2017 protests in St. Louis. Sirs in blood clot, right? All 3 have been charged with depriving Luther Hall of his civil rights under the colour of law. The case is testing the so-called blue wall of silence, the unwritten rule of unwavering solidarity among law enforcement, no matter the stakes, as officers have begun turning on one another. How are you going to beat up your... Look at this dickhead's face, yeah? Look at this idiot's face. Look, good. Yeah, good. I hope they thumped you up good. Justice for Luther Hall. I think I'm looking at justice for Luther Hall. Luther Hall just received justice. Yeah? Former officers Justin Boone and Christopher Myers and current officer Stephen Court have pleaded not guilty. Myers has an additional charge of destruction of evidence. He's alleged to have destroyed Hall's cell phone. Court has an additional charge of lying to the FBI. 2 other former officers, Randy Hayes and Bailey Coletta, previously pleaded guilty. Back in 2018, Hayes pleaded guilty to 1 count of deprivation of rights under the law. He has admitted to beating Hall with a baton and pushing him on the ground. Good! According to the Associated Press, Coletta pleaded guilty to making false statements to a grand jury about the assault. A federal prosecutor said text messages between officers ahead of the protest suggested an eagerness for violence against protesters. No way. No way. Really? Oh, I'm so shocked. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Because people who are interested in police violence, like the people who are protesting Sarah Everard, they should be interested in this as well, shouldn't they? Police violence, right? You don't think they'd be selective just because it was police violence against a black man, do you? Let's carry on. Hayes testified against his former colleague, saying Boone kept his knee on Hall's shoulder and kicked Hall in the head while he was lying face down on the ground. Hayes was questioned about day after texts justifying the assault, during which he claimed Hall had resisted arrest. Serves you right, Hall. Serves you right. Yeah. Look at see how the fat lip there. Yeah. That should have gone all the way across. Yeah. All the way across. They should beat your blood clot 10 times worse than that. Luther Hall, a black undercover St. Louis PD detective, was beaten up by his white colleagues during the 2017 protests, but it should have surprised no one because those cops sent text messages beforehand saying they wanted to beat up protesters. Hayes insisted that upon subsequent recollection he was wrong and Hall did not resist arrest. I can't think about it. But defense attorney representing the other officers seized on inconsistencies in Hayes' previous statements and testimony. He is awaiting sentences and faces up to 10 years. Many other current and former officers also tested during the trial. Uzumo Onowumwe, an FBI agent, was a St. Louis police officer in 2017 and witnessed Hall's arrest and assault. Onowumwe testified he watched Mays beat Hall despite being handcuffed. Okay, did the right thing, did you eventually? That's a deep plant though. He's the deep plant. Mark Antano testified he got blood in his hands when he pulled down a neck gaiter around Hall's face. When questioned by the defense, Mark Antano said he never reported what he knew to the Internal Affairs Department. Hall posed as a demonstrator during protests after the not guilty verdict of former officer Jason Stokely, who was acquitted in the killing of Anthony Lamar Smith, a 24-year-old black man who died after a questionable traffic stop in 2011. I mean, remember, they've been killing us by the bushel. The Derek Chauvin trial is just starting now. Remember, it's the Derek Chauvin trial. It's not the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is dead. He's a victim. It's the Derek Chauvin trial. But the media all here, the George Floyd trial. George Floyd is not on trial. George Floyd is a victim and he's dead. But you guys, you don't notice the drip racism. That's all part of the plausible deniability. Really? I didn't know. I need to make an amendment. I had no idea. No, we'll amend that.
So let me ask you again. Are those headlines racist? Simple yes or no.
I'm not going to stand to defend and say whether they are not. What
Why?
The context is.
You're
I
a
have
society of editors.
In front of me. Sorry, Victoria, you know full well because you are a journalist, you've got to see the context.
Well, let me give you some context then.
No, you fucking knew what you was doing in the first place. But that's how it goes. Hall reportedly said he was beaten like Rodney King and sustained injuries requiring multiple surgeries. The city recently reached a settlement with Hall for $5 million. Hey, well, your beating was worth it. You got $5 million out of it. Shut up. You got $5 million. Shut your mouth, yeah? You wanted to be a coon and you wanted to spy on other black people for a white supremacist power structure, okay? And the white supremacist power structure could not distinguish you from your victims and beat you as such. It's so fun. This is all good news to me. I'm posting ridiculous testimony of officers like St. Anthony Caruso, who testified for the events of the trial for 3 officers federally indicted for beating Detective Luther Hall. And none of these folks have been charged for beating civilians. But Sergeant Caruso did not see what officers did. He did not see what officers, you mean which officers? Oh, God, your grammar is appalling. Here are Detective Hall's injuries again. Ruptured gallbladder, chronic pancreatitis, hole in his lip, concussion, spinal injury, titanium discs in the neck, cadaver bone plate, and 6 screws in his neck. Good. Where's the sympathy? Sympathy is not kicking in here, right? A charge of deprivation of civil rights under the law is a high bar to meet, in many cases ending without federal charges, as explained by the Justice Department. Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under colour of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the constitutional laws of the United States. Well, you know that happens on a regular basis. Under the colour of law is a phrase that applies to official actors of the federal, state, or local level, including law enforcement, because when you conduct your business, you do it under the colour of law, right? Yeah, remember that British kind of copper who tried to rape the woman just the other day, and he was pretending like he was under color of law. Get on the ground, hands behind your back, and all that stuff like that, as he was trying to rape someone. Yeah, so, serial everyone, isn't it? They abuse their powers all the time. In this instance, we're expecting them to apply their powers appropriately in this case. The Department of Justice, or DOJ, has declined to prosecute numerous black people killed or beaten by police in recent years. Yeah? In an example of that truth resonating with the people of St. Louis, the DOJ declined to bring charges against Darren Wilson, the police officer in nearby Ferguson, who shot and killed the unarmed 18-year-old Mike Brown in 2014. Oh my gosh, doesn't time fly? 2014. Oh boy, we're in 2021 now. Oof. Luther Hall, serves your blood clot right. They should have beat you harder. That's what you get for being a coon and a sellout and a Sambo. Sorry, hold on. What are you going to say? You were policing for whose benefit? Okay, so wait. They had you embedded in a protest about the unjustified killing of a black man, and you went along and did it, didn't you? Yeah, serves you right. No sympathy. What? What is this nastiness, man? What are you lot exporting around the world, man? What are you lot exporting around the planet? Here's the joke, yeah? I am fond of the Public Enemy era, the masculine era, male rappers that like women. What the fuck is this shit, man? Here's the joke, right? Wait, what happened to American black masculinity? Yeah? Do you know how many Americans came over to the UK, right? Because they don't know how black people go on, and they used to call me the gay guy? I'm smashing left, right, and centre, but I'm the gay guy? Hey, over here in the UK, we don't bang each other in prison. What is this nastiness, man? Do you remember when Lil Nas X first came out? Do you remember when Lil Nas X came out with Old Town Road and blah blah blah? We couldn't really place him at the time. We couldn't really is he gay, is he straight? For a lot of people it didn't matter because the tune was a bit of a hit. And then they had the whole crossover thing. And I was quite happy for the brother. It's good to see a young guy come out and get his hit and make his money. But then along with the hype, do you remember Lil Nas X started performing in loads of children's schools? Do you remember that? And all the kids knew the song, and there'd be 300 kids doing it and everything, blah blah blah. And he'd come out, and the kids would be like, ah! And we were like, what? It's work. It works and everything, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? What rapper have we known that's been introduced to all the schools really quickly? Do you know what I mean? Able to do the schools, and I don't know any rappers that were invited to primary schools. Do you? But remember, this is chess, ain't checkers. All you dumbasses out there playing checkers, outmaneuvers. Of course, open the gateway to the minds of all of those children. How many millions of children know Old Town Road? Now, when Lil Nas X drops a new tune, all of those millions of children are gonna run over there and see that. Chess, not checkers. Although I would say, in the UK, it's got to the point where the coons feel safe enough to make their statements in public. That's where we've got to. For the last 10, 15 years, coons never used to go public with their coonery. They used to kind of keep it under wraps. But now, I can safely say over the last 4 or 5 years, we've got to a point where the coons will come out and put their face right out there, I'm cooning, what's the problem? Right? And dare you to say something? We're going to use little signposts of the time. Well, things have deteriorated to the point in England where coons feel safe enough to come out and make their Mayor for London runs and, obscure, you never heard of Labour MPs bending over and spreading their cheeks so Keir Starmer can notice. Labour MPs that been sworn they're black and come from constituencies which are majority black, not saying anything when it comes to very influential letters of, you know, concern about race in media and about race in general, about sorting out race in the Labour Party itself. You got one or two black people absconding from that responsibility. And that's like clearly more noticeable now in the UK. It never used to be that noticeable, but now it's really noticeable in the UK. I always used to say, when the coons feel safe to come out and talk in public and be coons in public, it's because they know the system's protecting them. We never had that really in the UK. You're starting to see a hell of a lot more coons in the UK now, opening their mouths. And what, didn't Prince fire up a couple of emergency ones, yeah? After H&M did their interview, didn't the first one of Charles just drop 2 emergency black people just like that? One, and neither of them Caribbean. Of course, you know where they'll come from. President of Ghana said he's aiming to not have his citizens used as international pawns on the world stage. So yeah, boy, let's talk about exporting your perversions, man. And apparently there's a trainer which has got blood in it, as 666 thing. I mean, look, man. Although, it should be that bad in America because the coons in the UK are going public. So if the coons in the UK are going public, that means there's been progression, right? I did a video some time ago where I called it the year of the bootlicking coon because I knew that they were coming up from underneath the rocks. But now you got coonery on display in the UK like it's like they're going, ah, and they're proud of it, right? Never used to happen that before, right? So now, if it's got that bad, I always used to say when the coons start getting really public in the UK, it's going to be really bad in America. Well, the coons in the UK just start getting really public, but he's introducing all kind of homosexual satanic stuff to you now. You Americans, man, you need to sort it out. Stop exporting your coonery and disgusting stuff to the rest of the world. Keep your shit in your own environment, because you use hard, remember? Hold on a second. You can be family with me if you want to be family with me. I'm going to address a couple of negatives. Use hard, remember? Remember keeping it real? Why don't you go and keep it? You didn't keep it real with Zimmerman, though, did you? Yeah? For all the kids that are getting killed in Chicago, yeah? Your Chicago gangsters, Chicago animals. Where was the energy for Zimmerman? I'm just asking. You got energy to run up and down and kill each other, but you ain't got no energy for Zimmerman? You ain't got that same killer energy for them? No, you don't. No, because you're only hard when it comes to killing your own people because white people allow you to kill your own people. That's why you're hard. That's why you could mean mug. Yeah? Because you know some white guy's going to protect you. So he's giving you carte blanche to kill as many black people as you like. Essentially, somewhere up the line, because it's the same in the UK as well, but essentially somewhere up the line, they know that they're dealing with a copper or a policeman who's going to let them off. And they're going to get away with some shit. So right now, obviously things are deteriorating. We're getting closer to whatever this thing is, whatever this finale is, whatever this great reckoning is. And just before we get there, Lil Nas X is now pushing these sneakers, Satan sneakers. They're not even hiding it. They're not even hiding it anymore. You just saw 20 seconds. Look. You can see. Look. What is this? What is that? What is this? What's that? What is that? Hey man, what's going on with black people in America? Right? Full court press in it. You can see it, right? Woo! Yeah, that was a bit of a leap and a bound, isn't it? But have we not got coons being blatant in the UK now? Not that blatant. But America's obviously, America sneezes, 3 days later we catch the cold, right? But that is gone clear, innit? I don't know about that. That's not part of me. That's not part of the culture. Woo! Someone's superimposed some shit in your batty. That's what it looks like where I'm sitting. Yeah, are they not saying? Hold on a second. Is not this thing a black, gay, demonic hodgepodge of Satanism with skulls and everything? Okay, if that's look, to each their own. Yeah, Westside Connect. Yeah, man, that's your modern day rapper now, coming out of America. Say something. I dare you to say. What? Who's repping that though? Anyways, let me go and wash my mouth out.
I am the king and will not be. I am the king and will not.